Okay, so another very important thing that you need to know are the different types of fonts that you can select. Now, there's a bunch of different fonts that you can select, but there's only two types of fonts. You can have serif fonts and you can have sans serif fonts. Now, what's the difference between them? Serif fonts are the little fonts where if you have an A, you have some little things down here, like little triangles that make it look all posh and sophisticated. When you have these things here, this is a serif font. Now, these fonts are usually more formal or more elegant or more sophisticated. They're used to give you the emotion of professional or luxurious, those type of things. So if you want a formal font, you're probably going to go with a serif font. But what if you're making a children's book and you want a more fun font? Well, the fun font is the sans serif font. And what's this? This is the font with no little triangle things. So the font might look something like this. You see, there's no little triangle pointy bits on the side. That's the main difference between serif and sans serif. Now, it's super important that you select the correct font because fonts give you a different perception of your book. What do I mean by this? Well, if you're making a children's book and you have a serif font, then you might have the most amazing image, really nice illustration on your book cover. But if the font doesn't match the style of your book cover, then everything collapses. It looks super unprofessional. Just by switching to a sans serif font, your book cover is going to look 100 times better because sans serif fonts are more fun, they're more childlike, they're more friendly. So if you want a friendly font, you go for a sans serif font. If you want a more formal, professional, luxurious font, you go for a serif font. Now you can scroll through Amazon and see all the different types of book covers, or you can find your favorite author and look at their book covers. Are they using a sans serif font or a serif font? Do they have the little pointy bits on the side or do they not have pointy bits? Are they kind of rounded? That is the main difference between serif and sans serif. I would recommend children books to use sans serif and then adult books to use serif fonts. Now, it all depends on your niche and your book cover and your style, so it's different for everyone. But how do you find these fonts? Well, the one thing you're not going to do is you're not going to use the pre-installed fonts that come with Photoshop. Or if you're going to use Canva, don't use the pre-installed fonts that come on Canva. You want to stand out from your competitors. So if your competitors are using the standard ones, then if you don't use the standard ones, you're automatically different. Now, the standard ones are super limited, and you don't want to be limited with your fonts. So what I like to do is I like to go on websites where you can download fonts for free. You can go on 1001 Fonts. You can go on DAF Font. You can go on Google Fonts. There's a bunch of them online. If you just type in free fonts online, then you're going to find a bunch of websites where you can download fonts for free. All you have to do is find the font that you want, select it, download it, install it on your computer, and then you're going to have the font. Now, the good thing about these websites, let's say the font, for example, you can go in and there's like 20 or 30 different categories of fonts. So you might be able to find a category that matches with the book that you're making. So if you're making a medieval book, then you can go and find medieval fonts for your book. If you're making a fun-friendly book for children and you want a nice bubbly font, you can go and find bubbly fonts on the font. Go to the website, scroll through the fonts, go through the categories, and try and download 5 to 10 different fonts, because you're not going to pick one font and that's it, just go with it. You want to pick 5 to 10 different fonts so you can test out a bunch of different fonts on your book cover and see what looks better, see what looks more professional, see which one matches with your illustration or your image the most. So your font is super important. You can instantly tell how professional the book is just by looking at the font that they decided to use on the cover. Most big publishers take a font and they actually manipulate it even more to make it more unique to the book.